On this week's live stream, let the dance battle begin. We unveil the finalists for our Robot Idol dance competition. Plus, a Chromeworks alumni gets a shout out from a gaming superstar. And Mr. T learns how to tame his unruly clones. All this and more coming right up on the Chromeworks live stream. Hello Internet, it's Mr. Tomac back again with another Chromeworks live stream. Man, things have been crazy around here the last little while, and this isn't probably going to be my most organized live stream ever. So I'm in between co-op students. My former group of co-op students, very able lads, every one of them, are off doing other things now. But I have a huge new group coming in. I still haven't finalized the numbers yet, but I think I'm going to have at least 8 co-op students joining me. So really excited to see what kind of content they can create for you guys. We are going to be experimenting with a whole bunch of new stuff. We're really creating a whole new kind of format of Scratch coverage here, and I'm really excited about it. My goal is basically to try and get more and more kids all over the world interested in this technology. My mission all along has been to transform kids from consumers of technology to creators of technology. I want to empower kids to do the cool creative stuff that will get their brains activated and get them learning about technology. But the secondary goal, so I've been working with kids, sort of 10 to 12 doing that, but I also want to work with teenagers and older kids who are interested in making their own YouTube channels and creating YouTube content. So that's what the co-op program is all about. I'm bringing in high school kids, teaching them how to create content for YouTube, how to edit video, how to tell engaging, exciting stories, and then repurposing that content and putting it onto YouTube for my young audience. And so along the way, we're teaching teenagers and teaching kids how to do stuff and getting everyone involved in technology. So hooray for everyone who's participated. We've had over 20 co-op students, and we're going to have our biggest crew ever of co-op students joining us in our new Chromeworks studio. So we have a brand new Discord. It was time for an update. I started this about 2 years ago, and when I knew very little about Discord and how it works. So rather than try and edit and fix and tweak things, I decided to burn my old Discord to the ground last week, and I'm really excited to present a brand new Discord server that's basically content oriented. So we've got an area for fans and people who are interested in stuff to hang out and join the community and sit in on our live streams the way we always have. But we also have a curtained off area in the back for content creators. So if you are a member of the community who is actually participating in Chromeworks activities, joining our discussions, and especially creating content for our show, it's not just our co-op students, anyone out there who's a student who's interested in making Scratch tutorials or interviewing people, famous Scratch movers and shakers, or just showing off their work, can join our community here and get behind the curtain to start working on the insider process of putting our show together. The idea is that we're going to let everyone who's part of this group join us and actually have previews of everything we're working on backstage here and be able to contribute their thoughts and their ideas and help us really shape what we're doing here. So this isn't just about me. I'm trying to get a large group of kids together to start working and putting this show together and making it their own. So come all and join me here, and I am looking to shake things up in the learning community. I'm a teacher by profession, and I am doing something that I don't think anyone else is doing anything quite like what I'm doing here. So join me in my mission to educate the world and get kids excited about technology. And looking forward to seeing you there. If you want to join my Discord server, just hop on over to my webpage, chromeworks.ca, and if you click on the live stream link, let me show you that right now. Let's go over to my teaching screen. So this is my home page, and from here you can click on live stream, and down at the bottom click on join to get the address for my new Discord server if you want to join us here on stage and chat with Mr. T. Remember, if you're 13 and under, you will need parental permission, so you have to fill in our parental consent form in order to do that. So come on over and join our community. I see that Coding Bunny has joined us. She's new to watching Chromeworks and already loved this so much. So Coding Bunny, I am going to go ahead and give you member status right now. You can go ahead and join us over in the studio right now, and I'd love to talk to you and maybe have a look at some of your Scratch projects if you're interested. So if you want to get on the stream, then go ahead and do that. As well as a shout out to Coding Bunny. I'd love for you to join us on the stage here. She says, he or she says, oh my God, it's Chromeworks, yay! So really excited to have you. You're obviously excited to be here as well. I'm joined also by funny animator Jim, the famous Scratcher who joins us from time to time. Hi Jim, how are you today?
Hey, good morning, Mr. T. Yeah, this is the first or second live stream. Was I not here the last time for the first live stream with the new server?
Yeah,
This
the
is the new
server actually
Discord
got set up just on Monday this week. Actually, I've been so my co-op student David helped me get it set up, and yeah, it's a nice shiny new server, and this is their first time trying it on the live stream. So anyone who
Yeah, it's
joined,
great. I just wish there were more people here. We got to get used to it, get all the old people back on the new server.
yeah, absolutely. Things are a little bit disorganized right now just because we've shifted everything over. But I really think this new server is going to power some changes for us now, and I'm really excited to see where we can take this in the future. So
Yeah.
yeah, so Jim, as an
So do you
inside,
think it's definitely at the stage where people anyone who's interested in your live stream is able to just join the server like Coding Bunny did?
yeah, so the way that it works is you don't need permission to join the server to get into the live stream. You just have to click to join, and you have access to the backstage area here where we'll be able to talk to you and see what you're up to, and Jim and our other moderators will be able to bring you into the stage area, and we'll probably be able to give you access right away as long as we can confirm that you're 13 and over. We do have to stay safe here because the software is intended for kids 13 and over, and I know I have a lot of younger viewers, so we just want to make sure that your parents are on board with you being here before we give you permission. But anyway, so I've tried to make things a little easier to access for our viewers, and we're really trying to form a community here of kids who are excited about Scratch and excited about learning technology, and I'm trying to make this as welcoming a place as possible. So if you're lurking in the chat, go ahead and drop me a hello. I'd love to hear where you're from, and I don't need your street address or anything. Just want to know what city or country you're from, and if you have a Scratch project you want to share with us, you can go ahead and give us your Scratch username, and we might be able to surf over and have a look at some of your work. So, we've got lots on the go here today. As I said, it's a bit of a transitional week. I don't have any content from co-op students this week, but our new co-ops are starting. They're going to start coming online this week, and so there's going to be a lot of new content appearing in the next little while. Today is just kind of our last step in that process. So, all right, I want to talk a little bit about Robot Idol. So let's go ahead and switch over to that. Where's our Robot Idol? Here we go. So Robot Idol, our dance competition, the deadline has finally come up for that. We're very excited to have 8 finalists ready to go in our competition here. I've decided to streamline things. I didn't have as many entries as I thought I would, so rather than having battle or dance-off kind of competition here, what I've done is I've posted all of the 8 finalists, their entire Scratch videos. I recorded them this morning, and I posted them all to YouTube as individual files. So if you are interested in voting in the competition, you can surf over to our YouTube page, and I'll show you how to get there in just a second. But first, I want to introduce to you our Robot Idol finalists.
Hello, I am a low-quality entry for Mr. T's contest. I guess you can look at me do some dances. So, sorry, I said 7 finalists there. There are, in fact, 8 finalists. We had a last-minute entry, and we had to tweak things around a little bit. But really excited about that. So, if you would like to vote in our competition, we are going to be showing more of these videos on next week's edition, and then we'll be announcing the winner in 2 weeks, basically, which is, I believe, February 24th. So the winner, actually, we're going to have multiple winners here, and we're going to have some special mentions for art and animation and some other stuff. But all of our winning candidates are going to be featured in a new Chromeworks music video that we're putting together in the month of March, and we're really excited. We'll be doing some of that during spring break. So we're very excited to do that. We're looking to do more content creation here, make funny music videos and fun story projects here, and to do that in collaboration with our students. So we're looking forward to bringing that to you. So our winning robots are going to be actors in this new music video that we're putting together, and we're excited about that. So how do you vote in our contest here? Let me go back to my teaching screen here. So I'm on my homepage right now. I'm going to click on the link for Robot Idol. And you can see all our, you can preview all our finalist videos here. Here's Kale's project, for example. And it's just a little window. What I would suggest is click the Watch on YouTube button. And if you like Kale's video, just drop it a like. Go ahead and give it the thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and like Kale's video right now. And,
you need to make those not private. Make them unlisted instead.
Yes, so they're private right now until 12 o'clock. That was one thing I didn't mention, Jim, is these are all being released at noon. So at 12 o'clock, you'll see a big bulk upload of all of these if you're subscribed to my channel, and after that, the voting will begin. So I just wanted to kind of release them all at once rather than a couple at a time, and some of them I just finished uploading them, so some of them are still processing anyway. So this will be ready to go at 12 noon. And we'll be good from there. Good morning to Easy Roblox, who's just joined us over on YouTube. Tell us a little about yourself if you'd like a little shout out here. Tell us what country you're from, or what city or state you're from, if you're from the US, or what province you're from if you're Canadian. We're just interested in knowing where our audience is from. Good morning also to Deck the Decoder, one of our finalists in the Robot Idol competition, who's done a lovely Doctor Who themed robot for us, and we're excited to be showing that to you next week as well. Good morning, Deck.
Hi.
Hi. So all right, so that's really all I wanted to do for Robot Idol today. I just wanted to show you guys how to vote in this competition. So just go ahead and like the videos you like. You can vote more than once, so you can't vote more than once for each candidate, of course, since you're only allowed to like a video once. But you can like all the videos if you like, and we're going to tally those up in 2 weeks and decide who's going to win our competition. All right, so I had some exciting news this week. This is a little bit of a self-promotion thing, but my son Jeffrey, who you've seen several segments of him at game school in Sweden. So my son Jeffrey started coding in Scratch at age 7, and I just like to hold him up as an example of what you can do if you're really excited about game development and game design, and you get an early enough start. You can self-teach yourself and work with organizations like Chromeworks and start to produce your own stuff from a very early age. And that's one of the reasons I want to expose people to this stuff, not just to learn coding and game making, but to learn the thinking process and to learn how to be successful in learning something. And that's what we're all about here at Chromeworks, and Jeffrey's a beautiful example of that. He started coding at age 7, and now at age 18, he's going to game school in Sweden. He had some amazingly exciting news this week. He has made a game. I haven't shown it on the stream because it's a little bit NSFW. It has a couple of aspects to it that aren't quite suitable for kids, but it's a game called How Fish is Made. It's a game where you play a sardine in a fish factory trying to find its way out, and you end up talking to other fish along the way, and it's a creepy, disturbing, horror-themed game that's available for free on Steam. And so Jeffrey made it as a side project with his friends at game school, with 2 of his friends at game school, and it's had fantastic success so far. He's had over 25,000 downloads. He's had some major YouTubers and Twitch streamers, people with over 1 million subscribers, playing his game. And now we've just had word this week that he has gotten some attention from one of the most famous people in the gaming world, Hideo Kojima, who is widely regarded as the most famous game developer in the world, the developer of Metal Gear Solid, ended up tweeting about Jeffrey's game this week, and we were stunned to see this. The comparison that was made was if you're a film student and Steven Spielberg gives a shout out to your little student project or whatever, it's kind of like that. Like Jeffrey is an obscure student, and his friends, his 2 friends, working at a school in Sweden, and to get one of the most famous people in the world looking at your stuff and loving it is really an amazing achievement. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Jeffrey for doing that. I want to show you the tweet right now, actually. So this is the tweet by Hideo Kojima. It's in Japanese. It's actually on his he has a Japanese and an English channel, but he's showing the trailer for Fish Game down below here, and he has basically said, "Great." This is the translation. So he not only saw this Jeffrey's game and played it, but decided that it was great and gave it thumbs up and a heart. So wow,
It's kind of even more than great, like amazing.
yeah, it's really
Amazing, wow.
I have to tell you, like, this is like an incredible achievement for an 18-year-old kid and his young friends to put together something that's been liked and loved by a legendary person. Jim, have you heard of Hideo Kojima?
I definitely recognized his face. I saw him at the Game Awards, but I haven't played those games that he made. But I mean, this is just fantastic that your own son has been one of the very few people to come across the eyes of these amazing people in the game industry, and I'm sure Jeffrey's going to go way further than this in the future.
Yeah, this is just an amazing
Congratulations
amazing thing.
so much.
Thank you. I'm just so proud of my kid. He's done some amazing work, and this fish game is just one of several projects he's already worked on in game school, and I just have no doubt he's going on to a great career. Hi to Nick Federuck on YouTube. give us a hello here and tell us where you're from, and I'd love to share that with the world here. As I said earlier, we don't need to know your exact coordinates, but if you could just tell us what part of the world you're from, we're always interested in giving a shout out to our audience. Okay, guys, so that's me bragging for the day here. I'm really excited about that. It looks like Hyperberry's not joining us. I had him lined up for an interview here today, but he's tied up. So let's move on here. As I said, I don't have a ton of content today. I really just wanted, this is kind of a transitional period here before things really start going with our co-op students for next week. But I do want to talk about my Dev Diary series. So let's get on to that right now. So Dev Diary is a new feature that I've been trying out over the last couple of days, where I'm making a game and kind of doing it bit by bit and asking my community to help me. I got really stuck this week, and it was an issue that had to do with clones. Let me give you guys an update on where I am right now in this project, and I'll tell you how some scratchers helped me out here to get unstuck, and I'm very grateful for that. So this is my Wordle game project, which I've been working on. I've already done 3 different parts of it, and you can see that the progress is going along quite nicely now. I'm able to type words in, so I can type hello, for example. Here, let's click the green flag and get this started. What's going on here? And I've broken my game. What? I think just while fiddling with it before the show, I've done something to wreck my game here. What the heck? Yeah, it looks like I removed a bit of code here. And okay, so I don't have that game to show you right now anyway, but I wasn't really talking about my game so much. You can see another part of that is going to be released at 11 o'clock. I'm not quite sure how I deleted that little bit here. And I don't remember what I had in that if statement there. Somehow I've accidentally deleted it. But what I wanted to talk to you about was a little issue that I had with clones. So every single one of the squares in this program here is a clone. Hi also to this literally isn't just dump. That's an odd username there on YouTube, but hello and welcome. All right, so I got every one of these squares inside the program is a clone, and so in order to add text to it or to remove text from this, we have to address individual clones, and I got into real trouble doing that this week. I rather than sharing the project out and trying to get help that way, I released a little message to my Discord community and on Scratch earlier this week asking for help, and I just kind of created a little laboratory simulation of what the issue was, which was I was trying to address individual clones that each had a different ID number, but when I set this up, the weird stuff started happening. So the idea of this little simulation here is when one of these guys with the ID 1 is flashing, and then when I hit the right arrow key, the flashing is supposed to transfer over to number 2, number 3, and number 4. So it's an example of how to make things happen to individual sprites when every single one of them is a clone of each other. But right away I realized things were getting messed up here. So you can see that when I hit the right arrow key, my current clone is supposed to go to 2, but it ends up going to 6. So that was something that I figured out right away, and it makes a lot of sense, actually. So we were going from 1 to 6 because there's an original cat in this project, and there are 4 clones. So each one of them is actually being addressed here. So when I say right arrow key here, basically we're saying when I press the right arrow key, wait until I let go of that key. That avoids unnecessary key presses, and then we change that current clone by 1. So the problem is this: when I receive a right arrow key, um, it changes a global variable around. But what a lot of new scratchers don't realize is these kind of when I receive blocks and also broadcast blocks, when you receive them, they are received by your clones as well as by your main project. And this is something I've had a hard time wrapping my head around. So what's actually happening here is this code is running 5 times. My main sprite is running it, and my clones are running it as well. Well, I tried to solve that problem by making it so that only one of the clones would respond to this and change that current clone variable around. So I went to something like this, where only the current clone, the one that's active, is able to change this variable around. And that kind of worked, but not quite. So you can see that the flashing does transfer over to the next guy, but there's some weird and unpredictable results. Let me see if my left arrow key is, no, I haven't enabled my left arrow key here. So when I press my left arrow key and try to make it go left, you'll see that the results are a little unpredictable. When I'm on ID number 4 here, and I hit the left arrow key, it jumps all the way to 1 for some reason. This all has to do with the fact that a whole bunch of clones are all trying to run the code simultaneously, and they're doing it in an order that's a little bit unexpected here. Thane had an idea for solving this that I thought was a really good one. He suggested putting a wait 0 seconds in here, which forces this to the next frame of animation, and that kind of works again, and it was definitely part of the solution here. And it's kind of working, but again, the very last sprite here, when I click left on it, it jumps over number 3 for some reason. Again, this is an example of unexpected things happening when you're trying to modify a global variable with a sprite that's cloned. So clones plus global variables almost always creates problems for you. I also had some help from a coder by the name of Cool Gaming 90 Studios, who saw my plea for help on Scratch, and he recoded this and did something that actually worked beautifully here. You can see that you can click the arrows or click your arrow key on the keyboard to cycle through these things. He's made it roll over so that when I click right from number 4, it goes back to number 1. This actually works quite nicely, and I was very impressed with this solution here. Let me show you the code that he got into to solve this problem. Hi also to Egorex, who says, hello, the clones do the right arrow code. You need an if check for if it's the original sprite via the clone ID. Yeah, so that's the solution that we kind of came up with as well, is the idea that we need to have only the master object to do the changing. But I actually found a better solution. I just wanted to show you Cool Gaming Studio's solution, because he did actually solve this problem. What he did, though, is he created a brand new variable called this clone ID, and he's just constantly resetting the current clone to this clone ID. And what I think this does is something similar to the wait 0 seconds. It pushes everything out to the next frame of animation so that there's time to evaluate this and get it in the proper order. This does work, but again, it's not the most elegant solution. So I wanted to give props to Cool Gaming Studio for coming up with a solution to this problem. But I actually came across a far easier solution to this, which is to kind of outsource the changing of that variable around. So this, now that I've thought about it, it makes perfect sense, but it took me a long time and a lot of thinking to actually come up with this. So what I ended up doing in the end was creating another object here, a controller, and it's a sprite with no graphics in it at all, and I'm just changing that variable inside of this. And the beauty of doing it this way is we can just go ahead, when I press the right arrow key, change that current clone by 1 in a really simple way without having to filter through all the different clones in my list here. I've also added a little bit of code here so that it rolls over and goes back to the beginning again. And it turns out that this works beautifully. So my current clone variable is changing by 1, and I don't have to worry about which clone it is that's making the changes. It turned out to be a ridiculously easy solution in the end. Just hand out that variable changing task and the keyboard input over to a different sprite, and then you don't have to worry about the clone. So this is a suggestion I'm going to make to anyone who's wrestling with these kind of issues. I heard from a lot of people in Scratch who said that they've been struggling with these kind of issues in their own projects as well. So I think this is a really great idea. So having a controller object in your games is something that I learned from Jeffrey as well. He's been doing that for quite a while and in his own projects, and I didn't quite understand the magic of it, which is when you're addressing clones here, if you make that inside a separate object, then you don't have to worry about multiple instances of the same command propagating across your game, which causes such unpredictable results. So
Yeah, I like doing that a lot too, like making just having a sprite that's like called main or control or something, and it's just broadcasting out all like the most important things, like deleting all the doing the lists or something like that,
yeah, absolutely, Jim. And so I've just become a convert to this way of doing things, and now it's all making sense for you. There are these moments when you're learning this stuff that that things just click into place for you. And I had one of those aha moments this week while I was wrestling with this problem. So this is my advice to all you Scratchers out there who are working with clones, and definitely it is the pro way to code in Scratch. If I see a Scratch project with 30 different sprites that are all variations of the same thing, I know I'm dealing with somebody who's new to Scratch. So you have to code efficiently and be able to make changes along the way. You have to be able to make copies of your objects, but you shouldn't order your clones around from inside their own sprite, or things get very confusing very quickly. So
Well, actually, let me just say something that I would do this slightly differently. I
sure.
didn't realize you posted those messages earlier this week, but I would, in this case, you could do it on the same sprite if you go back to that sprite.
Yeah, let's go
But
back
now
to
I
the
understand
original.
what you're saying about how it'd be slightly more confusing.
Yeah.
So if you go up a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
actually, no, you can just put it right in here. Wait, go back up a little more to where you're creating the clones.
Right.
Go
Oh,
more
the clones
up.
have been
Yeah,
created
more.
here. Yeah.
Okay, 0. So here, so set at the end, set clone ID to 0 again.
Right, and so that your last object has a clone ID of 0, and
Yeah, so
then we can say if clone ID equals 0.
0, right? Well, actually, not here. It would be in its own forever loop
Yeah, in its own
because
forever loop, right?
that's right. And then that one is the only one like that acts as your master, and then you can control it from there.
Right. So
Or
rather
in
than
the when right key pressed, just do if clone ID. You could do that right here. Actually, yeah, you could right now. Like set clone ID to 0 again.
okay, so
At the
right
end.
at the end of this repeat loop, let's walk through
Yeah.
this
So
as
you made all the clones, and then then you're done making the clones,
yeah, and
and
then I'll
then you
set
just
clone
reset it back.
ID to 0, and that way
Here,
the
and then
last
go
thing that
down to the key pressed blocks
yeah. So
right
here's my
here.
when right arrow key
Then
pressed.
just do if clone ID equals 0,
Yeah, if clone ID equals 0.
and
And we don't
then
even
that.
need the and here, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you need that.
All right. And
So
let's
if 0, so that way it's only if it's 0.
yeah. And let's try that over here as well. I'll do the same thing. So if clone ID equals 0 in this here as well. And we don't need to wait 0 seconds anymore. So this is only happening to the master object. And
Yeah.
and so let's try. So you're saying it's ready to
Hopefully
test now?
that works. Like go. Let me see the costume thing again. Like a little
Yeah.
up more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So if it's the current clone, then it's going to do the flashing.
All right. Let's try that out now. So
Right.
when I hit the right arrow key, it's working
There
beautifully.
you go.
And when I hit the left arrow key, it's working as well. Wow. Okay, so that is a different approach that also works as well. So use it, making sure that you're always addressing that master object rather than the clone is another solution to this problem as well. So yeah, Jim, thank you for that. That's actually a really good piece of advice as well. I think though that the easiest way is definitely to add a controller object. And because it's a keyboard input, a lot of people seem to think that if you have a keyboard input that's moving a sprite, that keyboard input has to be in the sprite. And that's one of the little kind of logical leaps that I had to make when I was coding, learning coding, that it doesn't have to be contained inside that object. So this is a lovely solution. It's just a teeny bit more complicated than what I was planning, but if I had figured this out right away, this would have solved me a world of hurt as well, because yeah, I really struggled with this week. I sat there staring at this code for 2 or 3 hours trying to sort out what was going wrong with it. And now looking at it in hindsight, it's like, duh. It now makes a lot of sense. Hi to Adam as well, who's joining us. He says, I have a question, how to make a multiplayer voice chat game. Um, well, Adam, I don't think that's actually going to be possible inside of Scratch. The Scratch community is very, very concerned about users being able to chat with each other. First of all, I mean, you could theoretically do something where you record your voice, but that's not going to work any well. But even text chat is forbidden by the Scratch administrators. So if you create any kind of multiplayer program with text chat in it, it will get pulled off of the Scratch server as soon as they notice it. And we just they're very concerned in the Scratch community about people with ill intentions getting onto Scratch and using the communications functions on here to be able to communicate with kids in a way that's not moderated. So they spend a lot of money and effort on moderation to make sure that all the kids on here are safe and protected. And as soon as people start communicating off the reservation in a way where they can't be watched over by the Scratch authorities, then things get a little dangerous. So if you try to do anything like that in Scratch, you're going to automatically get your project nuked. The only exception to that is if you create a chat program that has pre-programmed answers. Press 1 to say hello, press 2 to say I like your games, or that kind of thing. You can have as many choices as you want, but they have to be prefab choices in order for this to work in Scratch anyway. All right, so that's it for that. I hope that answered your question. It is Adam. Yes, it is Adam. I made a note to take your name down because I remember that you're using your mom's user account here. Anyway, so that is the solution to our cloning problems here, and it turned out to be a far simpler solution than I thought it would be. So if you're having trouble with your Scratch projects, I would love for you to do the same thing that I did. Post your project to the Scratch forum and ask for help and see if anyone wants to help you out. Now, I think that our community here at Chromeworks could really help with these kinds of problems as well. So if you do see if you do run into a coding problem that you can't solve, I would suggest you reach out to us. Join our Discord server and post your question there. Or you can post something to me, Mr. Tomek. And people have started reaching out to me on my profile page recently, suggesting projects they want me to look at and that kind of stuff. And this is a great way to get a hold of me. So just go ahead and log into Scratch and find my account, which is just called Mr. Tomek. You can see it right there. And just leave a message for me on my profile page, and I always reply. And if you share a Scratch project with me that you're having trouble with, I'll share it with my Discord community here, and we'll put our heads together and see if we can solve it. So I've run out of content. As I said here, I don't have any co-op material this week. Next week, we're going to be back with a whole bunch of new stuff. I think that we're going to start our co-op students again learning my cat and mouse introductory Scratch coding curriculum. So this is what I like to do my first week with my co-op students. I get them going on cat and mouse, even if they already know Scratch. But I just want everyone to get a look at the way that I teach Scratch. And the idea is everyone produces a game, and then I'm going to have them modify it. So add new rules to the game. So we're going to do a little bit of a competition next week where all my new co-op students are going to remix my cat and mouse game, and we can see what they come up with. And we'll have each one of them kind of create a tutorial around what they did to modify my game. So that'll be the theme of next week's episode. We'll be introducing you to all our new co-op students, and I think we're going to have a big crowd. Probably, as I said, at least 8 new students, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. So I think that is it for today, guys. I really am grateful for everyone who joined us today. Thanks to the new people who joined us, Coding Bunny and Nick Federuck, and this literally isn't just Dump. What an odd name. And Igor X. And please share this with your friends, and we'd like to have more people in on this live stream. If there's some content you'd like to see here, we're happy to take your suggestions. So I will see everybody next week, and we will have some fantastic new congrats again to Jeffrey, says Jim, and I second that. Go if you are old enough, do check out his fish game. It's a little bit of an obscure thing. How Fish is Made is called. You can find it on Steam. It is free. As I said, there's some stuff there that's not great for young children, but it is worth checking out if you're over 13. I would suggest it's kind of PG rated. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys, and I will see you next week with our new co-op students. Until then, happy scratching.